For decades, California police departments that want to sever ties with officers for misconduct have agreed to let them resign and to keep the bad behavior confidential. That's in order to avoid potentially costly and time consuming lawsuits. But as a result, officers with bad records have landed new jobs in law enforcement, and their new employers have no idea of their past.
Hey, that's some bullshit he just said, respectfully. I recorded this video a few days ago, man. I'm in a different mood now, and I definitely just re-recorded this intro. Big dog, they know what the hell going on, just like we do. Wandering cops are no new phenomenon in our nation, so you need to get out of here with that bullshit. I'm Trailhand Bill reporting live from South Florida. I'm gonna tell you something. I may record the main audio too, because this lady right here, Katie, said a bunch of shit I don't like. Well, maybe just a little bit. If you're new here, I got a message for you. I gotta tell you later because the intro already too long. I'm Trailhand Bill. Did I already say that? See what they got going on in Cali.
Officers with bad records have landed new jobs in law enforcement, and their new employers have no idea of their past. That's the finding of a 5-year-long investigation by the San Francisco Chronicle and the University of California, Berkeley's investigative reporting program. Katie Roosh of the investigative reporting program was the lead author of the articles that appeared in the Chronicle. Katie, you say that these are called clean record agreements. How many of them were you able to find in your investigation?
We were able to find over 300 involving nearly 300 officers. So some of the officers had multiple. But I think really what the major finding is that we found them in so many different agencies across the state, 167 agencies across the state of California. And it didn't matter the size or the region, we were finding these agreements.
And what sort of misconduct are we talking about? Did you find in these records?
That was a big question when we started the investigation was we were wondering, is this just minor mistakes that police are making and then getting these agreements to clean their records? And what we found was no, this is serious misconduct, everything from dishonesty to sexual assault to excessive force.
And there's also a wrinkle. There were some cases you found in which they sort of short-circuited the investigations into their behavior by claiming a disability. And talk about what would happen to those officers.
Yeah, those were really interesting cases. So, in some situations, an officer would be accused of misconduct, and during the misconduct disciplinary proceedings, they would claim that they were injured. They had a back injury, they had PTSD, and then they would end up with these agreements that not only whitewashed their misconduct records, but then also guaranteed them a disability pension. So, a pension that's meant for an officer who can no longer work, who is so incapacitated that they can no longer do their job. Now, these officers are also getting that benefit as well, which is a huge benefit, a yearly salary for the rest of their lives with huge tax benefits.
And paid for by the taxpayers.
Absolutely, paid for by the taxpayers.
Is this just a California thing, or is this happening in other states as well?
Well, our investigation focused on California. California employs the most peace officers in any state in the country. But what we found when we were looking at this, and we couldn't ignore, was that there are agreements like this in almost every state, from Texas to New York to Illinois to Idaho. We found these types of agreements.
You talked to the police chiefs of not only the departments that these people left, but also the departments that they went to. What did they tell you? Was their reaction to this?
It was some of shock and disbelief. I had multiple conversations with some police chiefs and sheriffs who couldn't believe that they didn't know about the misconduct at a previous department. And on the other side, I talked to many police chiefs and sheriffs who just sit awake at night worrying about these agreements that they made that allowed officers who they don't think should be working in the profession to continue to carry a badge and a gun.
And you also wrote that some of these police chiefs who worry about this, it wasn't their call. The decision was taken out of their hands.
Absolutely. And I think that was a really interesting part of this was the involvement of the insurance companies. So when it gets to a certain step in the disciplinary process, sometimes the city's municipal insurance gets involved and then they have ultimate settlement authority. So even though the police chief, the sheriff, the city wants to fire that officer and make sure that their record is not whitewashed, the insurance company comes in and says, nope, you don't get a say.
And you wrote that in California, there's an organization that actually advocates the use of these agreements. Who's behind that organization?
So in California, most peace officers belong to a union, and as part of that union, they pay dues to a legal defense fund, and so they have this group of lawyers who they have access to. And the one that we found that was primarily working in the state of California was an organization called the Peace Officers Research Association of California, PORAC, and their legal defense fund. They have a group of attorneys, and that legal defense fund was involved in almost every agreement that we were seeing in California.
There's a relatively new law in California that requires the disclosure of police misconduct and gives a commission the power to ban officers from being police officers. How does that law mesh with what's going on?
I think that's really interesting. That law took effect last year. And so we're still seeing how attorneys and police officers are navigating that with these agreements. But what we found from our investigation is that law wasn't aware of these agreements, doesn't specifically address these agreements, and also only addresses a specific type of misconduct. So there are only certain types of misconduct that are reportable to the state, that are required to be reported to the state. And so there still leaves this loophole for officers to kind of get around this law.
Is anything being done to close that loophole in California?
Right now, the legislature in California is not in session. They reconvene in December, but there are a lot of conversations that I'm having, obviously, because of our investigation with lawmakers about what could possibly be done. Would they model a state like Kansas or Colorado who have passed laws to specifically address these agreements? I think time will tell what California is going to do to address this, but I can tell you that they are having those conversations right now.
Katie Roosh, thank you very much, and thank you very much for this reporting.
Thank you.
I don't know how y'all feel about Katie, man, but for me, man, Katie's some bullshit, man. I had to go back and look and see and listen like, yo, what did he say she doing? He said she was like one of the lead authors on the articles, right? I want to get into that, but before I do, man, let me make sure I'm as courteous as possible. If you only want to see the video, it's over with. There will be nothing but my frustrated opinion from this point on, and I pray to God I'm as gracious and humble as I should be, because I feel anything but right now. Back to Katie, shorty. This is the arrogance in me, man. I don't be seeing the need for conversation about certain things. And then for me, so she was like, the Chiefs feel this kind of way. And then she went into the Chiefs who made these decisions, talk about how they stay up at night, worried about their decision because they don't feel these cops should be on the streets with badges and guns, etc., etc. Y'all heard the same thing I did if you were paying attention. I stopped what I was doing to make sure I listened to this. She told us how bad they feel about decisions they made, about the danger that they put the American public in. And she said it like it made some damn sense, like she really believed it. And I'm literally minus a few words here and there, give or take. I was quoting her verbatim. I mean, I can clip it. We all heard it and put it right here to make sure we get what she said. I wasn't far off. She said it like, okay, that was satisfactory. We can take that word for it. Man, you know what, Miss Lady? I think you got too much faith and confidence in words, man. You wanted to lead author. You know, all of us use words a lot if we could talk. You know what I'm saying? I guess words still with the people who have to use them in other ways, but definitely us who can talk. You know, then we write and we text and we, a lot of different things, man. We use words, but your ass is an author, so you extra use words on top of the average person. You may be a little too acquainted with them. That shit, them motherfuckers head ain't mean nothing. And then I want to say that you said it on the heels of saying like the decision was out of their hands. Now I've heard that before, but then you threw me for a damn loop because you said it had something to do with some damn insurance companies. Well, the last time I heard a chief factually say, and I covered this story, and he said out his own damn mouth on camera, he said it wasn't his decision whether to fire a rogue officer or not. He was like it was the town attorney, whatever that person's affair. I was thinking this when she was rattling off like she's good with words. She was like use of force, and I'm like, I don't be saying no use of force. I be saying they be out here beating our ass, attacking us. I'm sorry, I'm Trailhand Bill reporting live from South Florida. I'm from Georgia, man. But the last time I heard the chief say that, he was saying that like it was, you know, the city attorney or something, like whoever's above him. He was like, it wasn't nothing I could do about it. But your ass said it had something to do with some insurance companies. I'll come back to that if I could remember it. It just seemed like you were just buying all the books as long as it came in the form of words. And then you ended saying they're having conversations about what? Man, we don't get no about that. That's what I'm saying. I have to try to remember to be gracious. But for me, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I also know there are people who feel like Katie. Y'all would talk to the wind come home. Y'all would literally talk to God, go to sleep. And for me, that's just a little too much, man. That's just a little too radical because some things are far past talking. Now, we didn't get in because you know you were good with words, so you gave us a very formal, broad overview of the things that these officers were guilty of, from lying to those formal ass words you used that perfectly described it. But let's really talk about what they're doing. They're out here killing Americans. They beating asses. They're attacking Americans, men, women, and children. That's California, man. Ain't this what it should at? Not just a portion of California. It's California, right? Y'all correct me when I'm wrong. Y'all killed that little baby girl up there. I got the story in the cut. I'm gonna stop calling her little baby girl, and we're gonna remember her name, Lord willing. She was 14. She was in Target. Y'all didn't know not to shoot in no damn crowded ass park. What Target have you gone to in the middle of opening hours where this ain't nowhere where nobody that got no damn common sense need to be shooting? But officers out there shooting, y'all killed that little girl. She was in that shopping with her mama. That's just one story that I remember. Y'all got a lot of them. Let's talk about what they were doing so we don't form formality this too much, so much that it's just words. No, these are real human lives. So from the beginning of that video to the end, where you talking about all these words that you putting faith in, but you lost me. You lost me. So that's why when it was said and done, I had to go back and see what the hell that damn man said you did. And your ass is an author. So I don't want to go too hard on your ass, but you need to come back to the real world, because this shit ain't just words, young lady. These are real human lives. What the fuck is wrong with you? Was your authorship part of this investigation? Because right now I'm separating your ass from this 5-year investigative team, because you seem like a little too damn authorish to me. These folk went out there and did some lead work and got us some information that we need. I mean, ain't nowhere in hell you expect none of us to be surprised by it. Ain't nowhere in hell you think we needed you to tell us that this just isn't a California. That's what caught me in the damn intro, when y'all was like, it's a California thing. And we're like, motherfucker, have you been in America? Because we have all our lives, some of us long enough to know, even if it's not our lives, all our lives, that this shit go on every damn well. These cowards don't sleep. And God don't either, so that's a whole nother conversation. But listen, y'all didn't really give us no damn new information in this story. I guess it's good, just like we do sometimes. We recycle all of them videos and stuff, or even stories. The guys that jump in the comments, guys, you know, I mean, men and women, and say, hey, I seen this on another channel. So that is a recycled story, whether I knew they saw it or not. So it's good to get the information out there. And yes, we need to recycle this type of information, because every American needs to know who these tyrants are. And if you're able to do it in whatever form you're able to do it, and you don't live in America and there are tyrants among you, yeah, I think some sort of the same strategy needs to be employed, because we need to know who the threats are among us. But it's not new information. You know, I guess I need to stop saying that, because to some it will be. But for those of us who it isn't, you know, and now I specifically speak for myself, to hear you know, the young lady, some of the things that she was saying is like, while you have a regard for sharing this information with the American people, it seems like you're totally detached from the implications and the ramifications that the information you're sharing has, literally, on our day-to-day lives and our deaths. That shit kind of shocked me, and maybe I'm just being overly dramatic here. She was, like I said, too comfortable with the words. I don't even want to get into how they were talking about these departments knew about it. And we've covered videos. We've talked about the Wanderers. The Wanderers aren't a new concept. The fact that the American government enables them and allows them to get away with this. I mean, you know what the information that jumped out to me that was new is that I ain't know nothing about this insurance company. And the fact that they said they allowed him to get some type of fund for mental incapacity or disability, whatever that was, and that it carried. And then all of this is, they just finding more and more loopholes, not only to rob us, but to ensure the fact that they can continue to rob us and get away with it. Now, let me say that slow, because I don't want to miss the point. There's a build up there. They're making more loopholes so they can continue to rob us and also get away with it. That shit was insulting. I ain't no way in the hell face this entire video, but that is damn near the climax. The beginning is this right here, which is also the climax. They're doing this to cover up the fact that they're out here terrorizing Americans, man. You won't tell me this shit going on all over our damn country and any of these agencies, I'll use her words because I usually say some shit like departments. Look, they flying over here right now looking for somebody. It never stops, man. Especially in these big, that's one, I'm going to keep it real, man. I don't like complaining because I'm so blessed and I praise God. I'm going to get back to what I was saying, but that is one thing I like, it was hard for me to get used to and I'm still not accustomed. There's always crime in Miami and people think it's the urban, no, man, it's crime in Miami. Get back to what I was saying, man. They're making these laws, man, so they can, these rules, because some of them aren't laws, but some of them are. But they're making these backwoods. The Good Old Boys Club is nationwide. Mom, Paul, we everywhere now. The boys made it. It's not just insecure white dudes in the South no more. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But the Good Old Boys Club is nationwide right now. And you won't, I mean, it's just a hard sell for me to believe there are as many good, because the sale is that these cops that are making these damn agreements, I mean, and that was news too. Y'all got a whole damn agreement. Like, we just thought it was kind of unspoken. You know, the Good Old Boys Club, no, you Negroes actually have this shit written out. Like, now they got to go back and get this abolished. That's how cemented y'all got this bullshit. But anyway, they want us to believe those who need to be recipients of that process are the minority. Then how in the hell did they grow to be nationwide and all these good ass cops ain't stamp them out? Because the shit they doing is literally not only terroristic and murderously terroristic. I mean, at the very base of it, it's illegal, man. The very shit that you signed your oath to prevent. It's waiting among you, unthreatened as a mother, with plenty of safeguards and more coming. And we supposed to look at any of you motherfuckers like we can trust you in our communities, around the people we love, our children? Are you motherfucking crazy? No. Let's rewind this shit, man. So I'm gonna tell you what I heard in the video, and you're free to say this tripping. I don't know the hell wrong with Trey. I ain't he done jumped out of bed tonight. Or maybe I have. Maybe it's the Miami air. But no, man. Always record these cockroaches, man. Know your rights. Teach your children to know their rights. Know who they are any damn time they're around. They would turn. I'm walking, minding my damn business, intentionally not saying nothing to the cop. The cop say hello. I ain't say a damn thing because I don't trust these motherfuckers. The next one, plenty of them were pleasant. So I said, all right, I'm going to pay it forward now. So the next cop, he said hello. I said hello back. Next thing this Negro do is give me a directive. You can never trust them. They all masquerading charlatans. And if they aren't the ones directly responsible for the physical and domestic terrorism, they are co-conspirators, because I promise you, they work for these agencies, they enable these agencies, or they directly themselves help cover up this terrorism, this traitorous activity that they're always involved in against the American public. This shit ain't just words for me. It pissed me the hell off. Y'all literally like little termites roaming amongst the American public, specifically in this situation, American Californians. They deserve so much better, man. 2022 analysis, 25 departments, 40,000 payments, $3 billion. That's not even including the shit that y'all tucking away to make sure that no matter what y'all do to us, you and the people that you love live beautiful lives. I think we know who the real traitors are. And Katie, wittingly or unwittingly, I think your ass might be playing for their team, young lady. Y'all be aware and be good. I'm out.
For decades, California police departments that want to sever ties with officers for misconduct have agreed to let them resign and to keep the bad behavior confidential. That's in order to avoid potentially costly and time-consuming lawsuits. But as a result, officers with bad records have landed new jobs in law enforcement, and their new employers have no idea of their pasts. That's the finding of a 5-year-long investigation by the San Francisco Chronicle and the University of California, Berkeley's investigative reporting program. Katie Roosh of the investigative reporting program was the lead author of the articles that appeared in the Chronicle. Katie, you say that these are called clean record agreements. How many of them were you able to find in your investigation?
We were able to find over 300 involving nearly 300 officers. So some of the officers had multiple. But I think really what the major finding is that we found them in so many different agencies across the state, 167 agencies across the state of California. And it didn't matter the size or the region, we were finding these agreements.
Big Dog said they did it to avoid costly potential lawsuits. You really believe that's the only thing they were trying to avoid, family? Hey, Katie, you know, I guess y'all being professional, man, but I just don't like your tone, because you talking about terrorism like you informing us that the movie we wanted to see isn't playing tonight. Lawsuits and movies not playing. I mean, I guess we should be grateful that they saving us money, right? This ain't no damn movie, Katie. And they don't never pay for lawsuits. That's always on Americans. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.